Okay, morning all. So now in today's class, we are going to cover, in the last class, we have understood what is a programming language, what is the purpose of a programming languages. We have two types of programming language, high level language and low level language. Example of high level languages, we said that C, C++, Java, Groovy, Scala, Kotlin, these are all examples of high level languages. Why they are called high level language? Because they are something like English type language, which humans can understand. But if we issue instructions to the computer using English programming language, computer will never understand. A computer always understands language of zeros and ones. They're called low level language. So high level languages have to be converted into low level language. In order to complete this conversion, we need some sort of a software. We call it as a compiler. This step is called compilation, right? Now, every programming language, whenever you're trying to issue instructions, there are two things that happens. The first step is called compilation, right? So what is compilation? Compilation is process of conversion of high level language to low level language. This is called compilation. For that, you need a software which is called compiler, right? The next is you have compiled it. Now it has to be executed, right? So you have converted this high level language to low level language. Now you have to execute this program. So that is called basically execution of program. So first step is called compilation, and second step is called execution. Execution is not a technical word, just you're trying to execute the program, run the program. That's called execution. So now the example of high level language is called, we are talking of object oriented programming language, Java. Java is an example of programming language written in plain English type. So whenever you're trying to execute the program, you will have to run two things. First of all, you have to compile that Java program. How do you compile that Java program? So there is a software that comes when you install Java. That software is called Java compiler. So what does the Java compiler is going to do? You have to, there is a command that we'll be using it. We'll call it as Java C. Java C is the command that you have to use it. You'll not be using it in your, I would say, IntelliJ, but this is something like I'm just trying to give you a very high level overview. Whenever you try to execute a program, what happens? There are ready-made tools which will do this for you, and you don't have to break your head understanding how exactly it is compiling it. It's just a very, very high level overview so that you get to know, right, what exactly happens when you try to write a program. So there's a command is Java C, and the name of the file, the name of the program that you have written is called employee.java. What is employee.java? I'm using that extension is .java, right? So we have seen that in your software also. We have different kinds of files. There are some files which is having .txt extension. .txt is basically notepad files. We have something called .doc file, means MS Word documents are called .doc file. If you're writing a program in Java, they will have an extension called employee.java. Right? You have seen that we have some music files, those have extension called .mp3. So similarly, I have a program which I'm writing in Java. They will have a special extension .java. So we'll write employee.java. I have not explained how do we write the program, but just assume that we have written the program. So that program is going to have an extension called employee.java. Is this clear?
Yes.
I have not explained how do we write it. Just understand that we have written some program. So if I'm writing a Java program, it will have an extension called employee.java. So whenever we say that we have written the program, so this program will be written in a high level language, which is called English type language. I call it as a high level language. But if I simply pass on this program, what is this program? This is a set of instructions. If I issue these instructions to a computer, will computer understand this? The answer is no. Computer always understands low level language, which is the language of binary zeros and ones. That means computer cannot understand what this employee.java means. So I need to have some sort of a mechanism to convert this high level language to low level language. How do I do that? For that, I need to have some sort of a software which is called compiler. So what does compiler will do? Compiler will convert this. This is my compiler. So I give input my employee.java. So this compiler will convert this into a format which computer will understand. And after compilation, the file will be generated, and that its extension will be employee.class. What is this dot class? Again, as I said, that dot Java indicates that the file is written English type language. It's a high level language. Dot class means my class has converted into a format which computer can understand. This is into binary format. How do you get this binary format? The compiler does this magic for you. It will convert this high level language to low level language. Is this clear to you?
Yeah.
You cannot understand this, the language of zeros and ones. But can you understand this? The answer is it's a human readable because you have written English type language. Is this clear?
Yeah.
So every programming language will have two steps. First step is compilation. We have done this compilation. So this compilation is done, right? Second step is execution. That means I need to run this program, right? In order to run this program, I need some sort of an environment, right? Where I can execute this program. What is environment? And I'm not talking about environment outside, right? I'm talking about the platform or where I can run this program, right? I need to execute this program, right? For example, in simple words, if I have to execute this program on a computer, right? So I need to have some sort of a, let me think of how do I explain this. If I have to execute this program, right? If I'm trying to install software, how do I execute this program? In order to execute this software, in order to execute this program, I need to have some software installed on my machine, some sort of a software which should already be there installed on my machine. So what is that software? I'm going to explain that part. Is this clear to you?
Yeah.
It's a very, very high level language. I have not even explained. So that environment on which this program is going to run, that is called, I would say, if we talk in terms of Java, right? We are discussing here Java. So .java file got converted in .class file. Now we have to execute this program. In order to execute this program, you need to have some sort of an environment. That environment is called Java runtime environment. In shortcut, it's called JRE. Now, what is JRE? It's Java runtime environment. Runtime means you're trying to run the program on some sort of a environment. What is that environment? So in this case, we have different types of laptop, right? You have, in this laptop is a Windows laptop, right? We can call Windows as a platform or as an environment. Tracy uses MacBook. So Tracy's will have Mac operating system, right? So some of you might be having Linux operating system. So we can call as a Windows, Mac, or Linux. These are called different, these are called operating system, right? Or you can call them as an environment. So the Windows environment, Mac environment, Linux environment. So Java runtime environment is also going to be specific for Windows. If you have to install a software on Windows, the same software will not work on Mac. You have to download a specific of software to be installed on a Windows machine as compared to a MacBook, right? Because you have a different software. The same software cannot work on Windows, Mac, and Linux. For every operating system, you get a specific type of software to be installed. So this Java runtime environment is some sort of, you can say, the prerequisite. If you're trying to execute a software program on Windows machine, you need to have this sort of environment installed on your Windows operating system. It's a very high level overview. Do not break your head if you're not getting it. Just assume that some prerequisite is required on your laptop to run a program. Is this clear?
Yes.
A very, very high level overview. I have not even told you how do I write program. This is just I would say these are some few jargons which you should understand. If you're able to understand a layman's term, you'll be able to connect the pictures in a proper way. So what is Java runtime environment? Java runtime environment is some sort of you can say that a software which is required to execute a program. Will you be able to execute a .java file directly? The answer is no, because .java is a high level language. It's an English type language. It has to be first compiled into a format which a computer can understand. It has to be a binary language, a language of zeros and ones. How do you achieve that format? By making use of compiler. So there is a compiler that will be installed. You have to install on your laptop. So you need to install some sort of a software on your laptop in order to have the compiler, and that compiler will convert that high level language to low level language. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Now, what is that compiler? Where do we get that compiler from? Is it paid or it is free? There are so many questions you'll be having. So whenever we install any software on your laptop, right? So you have to install Java on your laptop. Now, what exactly is a Java? Why do we need Java? right? So I'm just trying to explain. So whenever Java is a basically a programming language, and we are going to write our software program with, I say, employee.java using this programming language Java. Now consider an analogy. I'm not trying to develop Java programming language. I'm trying to write a program using this programming language. In simple analogy, if I say that you have to write an English story, right? If you have to write an English story, what do you need to do? Do you develop your own alphabets, or you use the alphabets which is already developed in English? So there are 26 possible alphabets, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So using these 26 possible alphabets, whatever words are already there in the English, you use only those ready-made words which are already available. You don't discover or invent your own words, isn't it? You just make use
Yeah.
of the words which are already there in English. And using
Yeah.
those English language, you are able to write your paragraph or write your stories. So somebody has already developed those 26 alphabets for you. Somebody has already defined the predefined set of English words. Using those words, you write your own story. Similarly, you are trying to develop a program by some set of a functionality which is already given to you. Somebody has already developed this programming language. You can say some library, some functionality is already there. That functionality comes with this Java software. So you need to install this library, and you need to go to the Oracle website and download this. So what does this, when you download Java, what are you trying to download? Essentially, it is something analogous to this one. When you say that I'm trying to write one English story, so I need to have those English words or alphabets available to me, using which I can write my own story. So similarly, if you're trying to write a program, you'll say I need some sort of functionalities which are already developed, which should be available to me, using which I can write my own program. So that's something using which you're going to write your program. It is set of a library which has those words, those jargons, those functionality that comes with Java. And Java has two parts, which is called JDK, which is called Java Development Kit. JDK stands for Java Development. What exactly it will have? It will have all those functionality, some predefined functionality, which is developed by people, those who develop this Java programming language. So you are not going to develop any of this programming language. You are going to using this library. You are going to write your own program. Is this clear to you?
Yes.
So one is JDK and one is called JRE. Now, who uses JDK and who uses JRE? JDK is Java Development Kit. If I'm the developer, I'll be writing a program. That means I'll be, if I'm the author of English, if I'm writing the story, that means what I'll be needing these alphabets, right? Because I'm writing the story. So I will say I'm the author. If I'm trying to write the program, so I will be needing this library, right? JDK. So I just need to download this and I need to make use of this library. So if I'm the developer, then I will need this library. Now, what does the developer mean? So what does the tester means? For example, let's say if you're a TV mechanic, assume that you're a TV mechanic. So TV mechanic, what will have? Or maybe let's say carpenter. So what does carpenter do? He has some sort of tools, right? He will have a hammer, he will have, let's say, nail. So this is called toolbox. Can we say that this toolbox is something which is available to him, using which carpenter does his job? Similarly, if I say Java developer, so for Java developer, this JDK Java development kit is something like a toolbox for him. So using this toolbox, he writes his own program. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Now, what is JRE? Java Runtime Environment. So somebody has developed this program for me. Let's say somebody has developed this, built this TV for me, and I need to say that is this TV working fine or not? I need to verify whether this TV is working fine or not. So do I need to have this toolbox using which this TV was made in order to test that whether the TV is working fine or not? I don't need that, right? Because when the TV was built, right, so that means there's a lot of mother circuit is there, some wiring is there, capacitor is there. There are a lot of whole lot of complex circuit is there inside the TV. So in order to test that TV, whether the TV is working fine or not, I don't need to have all those tools which was used to develop that TV, isn't it? I just need to verify whether TV is working fine, or how do I verify? So in order to verify that, I need to simply go and switch on the TV. That means I will need a separate set of tools to verify whether TV is working fine or not. So somebody has developed this TV. So I, as a tester, I just need to verify whether the TV works fine or not. So A developer tool is completely different from a tester tool. Who was the developer? The person who developed the TV. He had a different set of tools because he was using different set of tools to build a TV. But as a tester, I need a separate set of tools to verify whether TV is working fine or not. So in software world, we have two categories of people. One is called developer. He will write the program, he will develop the software. So he will need a separate set of tools, which we call as a JDK, Java Development Kit. It's a set of a library using which he will be writing the program. Is this clear? Tracy?
Yes.
Is it making sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what is JRE, Java Runtime Environment? So this is basically used to execute the program. What the program has been written, right? He has to execute that program. So if at all, let's say some TV was built, so it was built using some set of a library. Somebody has developed this. Now I need to run the TV. I need to play the TV and see whether it works fine or not. So in order to run the program, which was developed by the developer, you need some sort of a separate set of tools. You call that tool as this JRE, Java Runtime Environment. In simple words, you have developed the program, but as so now the question here is, if let's say if I'm the developer, if I'm building the TV, do I need to test whether my TV is working? Whatever I have built, is it working fine or not? I would obviously, if I'm building the TV, I would like to see that whether whatever I have built, is it functional also, isn't it? So I will be needing both set of tools. I'll be needing this JDK in order to develop the TV, and I need to play that TV. So that I'm able to verify whether TV is working fine or not. So that means if I'm the developer, I will be needing this JDK as well as JRE. Is this clear or not?
Yeah.
But let us say if I'm just here to verify, boss, your TV is working fine? It's not working fine. So do I need this JDK? I just need JRE. So where do we get this JDK and JRE? Whenever we install Java program in our laptop, we get these two set of tools. In simple words, just consider for the time being, just consider that they're a set of libraries or some sort of a tools. So JDK and JRE, a developer will need both JDK and JRE, because developer not only has to develop it, he also has to test it. He also has to run his program. In order to develop the program, he is using JDK, and in order to run his program, he needs to have JRE. But if it's a tester, he doesn't need to worry about what is there in JDK. He just needs to test it. So he will be needing this JRE. Clear or not?
Yeah.
So what we have studied is basically, what is a programming language? What is the need of a programming language? We need to have a consistent output. If it's a human being, output may deteriorate over a period of time, because human being has a limitation. He cannot perform the task repeatedly. But if you give the instruction to a computer or to a robot, he can give you a consistent output. How do you communicate to a computer? By making use of high-level language or a programming language. So programming languages are of two types. One is functional programming language and is object-oriented programming language. Functional programming language always talks in terms of verbs or action. Will just have only methods or functions, but it had several shortcomings. Those shortcomings were taken care by object-oriented programming language. Now, what is object? Object is something which you can physically see it. I gave the classification as I say object is based on some template. It has some specification. You can call it as a factory. A factory will, let's say, if you have a do you know what is something called die? Die will have die is a machine using which or maybe you could say nut and bolt machine, where you specify the nut and bolt. Die is something like where you specify the specification of the tools that is going to be produced from this die, just in case if you're aware of it. If you don't know it, you can ignore it. So a die is something like which produces nut and bolt. So a factory nut and bolt is it will keep on producing nut and bolt. You have to specify what will be the diameter of that nut and bolt, how many turnings will be there, what's the length, width, etc. So there you are specifying the specification that every nut and bolt, what will be the specification. So this die is something where you are laying out the specification or template or the blueprint, and every nut and bolt that comes out of it, you can call it as an object. I have given several examples of class versus object. Object is a specific example of a class, right? And then we said that every class will have two things. It will have attributes and it will exhibit some behavior. Attributes are also, I call it as a characteristic or a feature. You can also call it as a data. Is this clear?
Yes. Yes.
And how do we exhibit behavior? By making use of methods or functions, right? Method, procedure, they all mean the same. Now, as a programmer, we are talking of one object-oriented programming languages, which is called Java. Java is a high-level programming language. So you have written a program in a high-level language, but then you want to execute it. Can you execute that Java program straight away? The answer is no. It has two steps. First of all, it has to be converted into a low-level language or a binary language by making use of a software which is called compiler. Compiler will convert that high-level language to low-level language. So .java file will be converted into .class file. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Now it will be converted into binary file. Now you have to execute that. So first of all, you need to, how do you execute that? In order to execute run the program, you need some sort of a software which is called Java runtime environment, right? So who will use this JDK? The answer is JDK will be used by developer who is writing the code for it. But will the developer need JRE also? The answer is yes. He has built the software. Now he would like to test it. So a developer will need both JDK as well as JRE. Is this clear to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so we'll just go and see how do we install Java on a laptop, and we'll understand it, right? So for example, if you don't know how to install Java, I'll simply go to Google, google.com. I'll say download. I'm saying that I need to download the Java. So I'll say JDK. JDK means what? Java Development Kit. Now we understand what is JDK. JDK is a set of tools which is used by developer. You can see here there are various options: JDK 8, JDK 11, JDK 13. These are different versions, right? So we will be focusing only on one particular version of JDK, which is JDK 8. So if I say download JDK 8, if I go here, you can see here the first link comes as Java SE Download Kit Oracle. If you click on this, you can see here you will get some option like this, something like this. Okay, so you can see here Java SE downloads. So if you scroll down a bit, you can see here there are various flavors of Java, right? If you see here, I'll just quickly. So as I said that, you can see here Linux. So what is Linux? It's an operating system, right? So Linux, Windows, MacBook. So Tracy uses MacBook. So you can see here, this is a MacBook. So Tracy will have to install something, this kind of software, which is specific to Macintosh. So Solaris is another operating system. So those who are using Solaris operating system, they have to use this kind of installation. You can see here JDK 8U251. Don't worry about this. Just like these are some different versions. You might see different versions depending on the time at which you're installing the software. Let's say if you're trying to install the software maybe 1 year down the line, this version might be JDK 25257 or 259. So this keeps on changing. At this point of time, this is this version that you have to download it. Is this clear? Is it clear?
Yes. Yes.
Now, if you go down, you can see here there's something called Windows. Normally, I'm using Windows operating system. So there's two flavors: Windows 86, Windows 64. So mine is a 64-bit operating system. So I will download this. You can see here JDK. JDK stands for Java Development Kit. When I start downloading it, I have to click on this. Let me see what happens if I click on this. You can see here, it says that, okay, you'll be redirected to the login screen, right? The message that I get here is I'll be redirected to the login screen. So I have to, when I click here, let me see, I need to check on this. When I check on this, when I say download JDK, you can see here, it will take me to the login screen. So it takes me to this screen, and I need to register on this Oracle site because Oracle wants to keep track who is downloading their software. So Oracle is the company which owns this programming language. So you need to register here. If you don't have an Oracle account, you need to go and click and create account, and then you need to register here. It's very simple and self-explanatory. You would have registered on various sites by now, so you know how to register it, right? It's absolutely free. So don't worry about, they won't ask you for any credit card information. You go and register, create an account, and then once you do it, then you'll be able to download this Java on your machine. Is this clear?
Yeah. Yes.
So you will have some sort of an exe downloaded on your laptop. Let me see if I have Java installed or not. Let me just see. See download. Okay, I'm just trying to give you an understand that you understand it. So let's assume that I have downloaded after registering on the website. I have downloaded this and it gets downloaded. So this is the, let's say, version of the JDK installed. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Now I need to install Java on my laptop. How do I install it? I'll start clicking on this. When I click on this, it will start installing Java runtime environment, and you can see here it will start asking me. You see what's happening? Okay, so it will come like this. It will ask me to say change destination folder. I mean, if I don't choose anything, if you don't have to break your head, just keep on clicking next, and you have to click on install. If you click on install, it will start installing it, right? If you keep clicking on install, it will keep installing Java. Ultimately, it will install Java on your laptop. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Now, what do you need to do? Let's say I have installed Java on my laptop. Now I need to verify whether Java is installed properly on my laptop or not. So how do I install it? I said that in order to compile my program, what do I need? I need Java C. What is Java C? Java C is the compiler using which I'm going to compile my program. So far, I have not told you how to write a program. I'm just saying that Java C is the compiler, and it will take an input as a file which is a high level language, Java C employee.java. If I write this command, it is going to compile this and give me a compiled version which is into binary format. And the name of the class will be employee.class. After compilation, I get this class. Is this correct? Tracy, is it making sense to you?
Yeah.
Now I'll show you exactly how Java is. For the first time, if Java is not installed, right? So I'm just trying to make some, because I have already installed Java on my laptop, right? So I need to make some changes in order to make sure that to portray as if Java is not installed on my laptop. So then what do I need to do? I'll simply go and make some changes. So you can ignore this part. Okay, so assume that you have downloaded that JDK from the Oracle website after registering it, and now you have to verify whether Java is installed on your laptop properly or not. So how do you verify that? You'll click on start button and you'll type here CMD, which is called command prompt or DOS prompt. If it's a MacBook, then you have some other, you call it terminal, right? So on this machine, you have to type here Java minus version. And you have to type here Java space minus version. You can say that there's a space between Java and minus version. If Java is installed properly, it will give you the version of the Java installed on your laptop. If it is not installed properly, it is going to give you an error. So let us see if it is Java installed properly or not. I have made some changes on my laptop to portray as if Java is not installed on my laptop. So if I click here, let us see what happens. Okay, it has given me, it works fine. So just a sec. Anyway, so I'll take a separate session. How do I set up environment variable? Basically, I want to show you that when we install Java, then there are a few things which is automatically taken care behind by the software. I just want to explain that part. But if you install Java, in order to verify that whether Java is installed properly on a laptop, what you need to do is you need to simply go and type here Java space minus version, and it will show you the version of the Java installed on your laptop. In this case, you can see here, it shows that 1.8.0, right? So this, if it is showing this, that means your Java is installed properly. If it says that Java says not a Java is not a recognized command, that means your Java is not installed properly. Is this clear to you?
Yeah.
Now we'll go and try to write the first program. So this is I wanted to cover as a part of today's class.